Imagine a cold autumn morning where the wind whispers secrets through empty streets, and a single act of kindness can rewrite someone's destiny. In the shadow of a grand hotel, a young woman pauses, her heart guiding her hand toward a stranger in need. But what if that stranger held the power to change everything? This is a story of hidden truths, quiet compassion, and the gentle hand of fate that rewards the pure of heart. The day began like so many others at the Regal Heights Hotel, where polished brass doors welcomed the city's elite and the air carried hints of lavender from freshly arranged flowers. 24-year-old Elena Ramirez arrived 10 minutes early, her faded backpack slung over one shoulder as she slipped through the side door. She adjusted her housekeeping apron, the one with the small tear she'd mended herself, and pulled her curly hair into a simple bun. Elena had been with the hotel for over a year, starting right after her father's passing left her family struggling with debts. The work was humble, scrubbing sinks, folding linens, but she found quiet joy in making spaces feel like home for others. Her manager, Miss Lydia Grant, sometimes noted her careful touch, though it never led to more pay. Little did Elena know, this ordinary day would unfold into something extraordinary. Meanwhile, in a high-rise apartment across the city, Alexander Hale gazed out at the waking skyline, the first light touching his face like a gentle reminder. At 45, he owned Hale Hospitality, a chain of upscale hotels spanning the continent. The Regal Heights was his pride, the first he'd built from his late mother's modest inn into a beacon of luxury. Alexander lived by a simple truth his mother had instilled. True character shines when no rewards are in sight. She'd made him work incognito in her inn as a boy, teaching him to value every soul. Now, hearing whispers of unkindness among his staff at Regal Heights, he chose to see for himself. He selected worn clothes from a second-hand shop, an old coat with frayed edges, faded pants, and a knit cap. In the mirror, he added smudges to his cheeks, letting his beard shadow grow unkempt. By 9 o'clock, he lingered near the hotel's back entrance, embodying the overlooked wanderer. The first to spot him was David Ellis, the shift supervisor Alexander had promoted last year. "You can't hang around here," David said briskly, barely glancing up from his phone. "This is for staff only. Keep moving." Alexander stepped nearer. "Just need a moment out of the chill, sir. Shelter opens soon." David waved him off. "Not my concern. Leave now or security handles it." Alexander noted the indifference silently. Next was Sarah Lynn, a concierge she'd hired for her poise. She paused, but only to frown. "This isn't the place for that," she murmured to a passing coworker, loud enough to sting. "It ruins the image." One after another, staff members brushed past. A valet ignored his plea. Kitchen aides hurried by without a word. A guard warned of trouble. The rejection built like a quiet storm in Alexander's chest, the raw cold seeping deeper than he'd expected. It wasn't just the weather, it was the ease with which people dismissed a fellow human. Then Elena appeared, wheeling a bin of supplies toward the alley. She hummed a soft tune, one her father used to sing about finding light in dark times. When her eyes met his, huddled against the wall, she didn't turn away. "Are you okay there?" she asked gently, setting down her load and drawing closer. Alexander looked up, staying in role. "Just warming up, miss. Been a rough morning. Have you had anything to eat?" Elena's voice was warm, like a hearth on a winter night. She reached into her pocket, pulling out a folded $5 bill and an apple from her lunch. "Take these. There's a cafe nearby. They're good folks. Say Elena sent you." "I can't accept that," Alexander murmured, touched despite himself. "Please," she insisted, placing them in his hand. "I've known hard days, too. After my dad passed, Mom and I leaned on neighbors' kindness. It's what keeps us going." Alexander's voice caught. "Thank you. I'm Alex." "Elena," she smiled. "I clean here. Take care of yourself, Alex." A harsh voice interrupted. "Ramirez, what are you doing?" Miss Grant stood at the door, arms crossed tightly. "Step away from him now." "I was only—" "I see exactly what. Wasting time on strays during shift, that's a deduction and a mark on your record." Elena's shoulders sank, but she offered Alexander a quick, reassuring nod before heading inside. Miss Grant turned to him. "And you, clear out before I report you." Alexander rose slowly, tucking away the bill and apple. A low-wage worker had shared what little she had, while higher-ups saw only inconvenience. It stirred a deep resolve in him. He found a nearby diner, washed up, and used Elena's gift for a warm coffee. As he sipped, he dialed his assistant to begin reviews. By evening, he'd uncover more about Elena and the flaws in his own house. The next day, Elena Ramirez pushed her cart through the halls, the warning weighing on her like an extra load. One more slip could mean losing everything, with her mother's rent and medicines depending on this paycheck. Yet she couldn't regret the moment. Her faith, nurtured in quiet prayers, taught her that helping others was a calling, not a choice. "Lord, guide my steps," she'd whispered that morning, as always. Alexander, back in his suit, delved into files. Elena Ramirez, spotless record, requests for better shifts denied, praises ignored, no raises despite glowing notes. Then the others. David with unresolved complaints, Sarah with notes on selective courtesy. A pattern emerged, one of overlooked talent and buried issues. Miss Grant's file showed high turnover, blocked promotions with curt dismissals like not suited for visibility. Anger flickered in Alexander. He'd let this fester. He called HR. Full audit on Lydia Grant and prepare a profile on Elena Ramirez for advancement. That afternoon, whispers filled the staff lounge. "The owner's visiting soon," her coworker Mia said. "Grant's on edge." Elena's heart sank. Inspections meant extra eyes. Assigned to the penthouse suite, she worked meticulously, noting its emptiness despite being booked. As she polished a vase, the door opened. "Carry on," a voice said. She turned, and recognition dawned. Clean-shaven, in fine attire, but those eyes. "Alex?" she breathed. Alexander stepped in. "Alexander Hale, actually. I own this place, Elena. Let me explain." Her cloth dropped. You were testing us?" "Yes. Reports of poor conduct. I needed truth." "So it was all pretend?" "The disguise was. Your kindness wasn't." He held out the $5 bill, now framed gently. "Out of 14 encounters, only you helped." Elena's cheeks warmed. "Anyone would. But they didn't." He motioned to chairs. "Sit, please." "I'm on duty, and Miss Grant is in a meeting. You're safe." They sat, the luxury contrasting her uniform. "Your file shows promise, yet stalled. Why?" "Grant says I'm better behind scenes, no polish for front roles." "And you accept that?" "No," Elena said softly, then firmer. "I studied business part-time before Dad's illness. I know I can do more, but family comes first." Alexander nodded. "Grant's blocked many like you. Her department loses talent fastest." Elena's eyes widened. I didn't know." "Will you take a new role? Guest relations lead. Better pay, benefits, education aid." Elena's pulse raced. 40,000, enough for stability, for dreams. But doubt crept. "Why me? From one kind act?" "It's more. It's the heart this company needs." She asked for time, heading home to her modest apartment, where her mother, Sophia, waited with tea. At 50, Sophia's arthritis slowed her, but her spirit glowed. Elena shared the tale, the stranger, the reveal, the offer. "What's stopping you, mija?" Sophia asked. "Fear of failing. What if I'm not ready?" "You've got faith and grit. That's more than enough. Remember, blessings come to those who give without expecting." Elena pondered through the night, praying for clarity. By morning, she arrived at Hale's offices in her best blouse, nerves steady. Alexander's space overlooked the city, walls adorned with staff photos, smiles from unseen visits.
I've decided. I'll take it, but with a change. Train others from housekeeping, too. They deserve chances." Alexander smiled. "Agreed. In fact, let's expand that." The door opened to Mia, an elder porter named Luis, and young mechanic Rosa, others who'd shown quiet kindness that day. "You're all promoted," Alexander explained. "Grant and several others are out for fostering division. You four build the new way." Shock turned to tears. "Us? Why?" Luis asked. "Because you see people, not positions." Changes swept the hotel. Some resisted, quitting amid shifts. Elena dove in, suggesting rotation programs to foster understanding. Front staff tried cleaning, managers fixed leaks, bonds formed, service warmed, but VP Carla Voss challenged Alexander. "Idealism over experience?" she pressed Alexander. "Results will show," he replied. Weeks later, Elena gathered stories, transformed lives, better scores. At a key meeting, she presented to skeptics. "We were invisible once. Now we lift each other." Applause followed. Changes approved chain-wide. Months on, Elena and Alexander's bond grew, rooted in shared values. He proposed partnership in a new inn, blending business with heart. "Partners in all," she agreed, their wedding following under starlit skies. Years later, at their Harmony Haven opening, Elena, now hale, watched guests arrive, her mother beaming nearby. Lives mended, opportunities bloomed. That small apple and bill had sparked it all, proving compassion's quiet power. Sometimes the smallest seed of kindness, planted in faith, grows into a garden that shelters many. Share this if it warmed your soul today.